This
put this as
conference will now be recorded.
okay. So let's understand what is trigger. So basically triggers are used to automate the business process. What the meaning of automate the business process means? If you are doing some transactions or something manually, so rather than doing those transactions manually, you can automate those, and you can use triggers to perform the manual steps which you are doing. So for example, let's suppose you are going to create the account, and when you are creating any account, you also want like one related contact should also create in the org. Related means related to the account. You are creating the account, then you want to automate like one contact should create, then you can use trigger. You want to apply some validations, you can use trigger. You want to update some fields also, you can use trigger. You want to find out the count, you can use trigger. There are many use. So purpose is to automate the business process. We use trigger, and trigger mainly work on the events. Automate the business process. Triggers are used to automate the business process. And triggers runs on the basis of events. What are the events we have? Events means DML. It will run either when you are performing after event, it can be after insert, comma, update, comma, delete. So it can be after event, it can be before, same thing before insert, before update, before delete. What that means, when you want to automate the process, you need to identify which event you are going to use, whether that will be after or whether that will be the before event. Okay, any doubt in this, in events?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we have context variables.
So what about undelete?
Yes, so undelete is kind of a specific case. I'll tell you that one also. I'll tell you in the context variables. We have context variables. Context variables means, any idea about the context variables? The context variables we use to perform kind of the check. If we talk about the total events, so we have insert, update, delete, merge, upsert, undelete. Okay, so first let's talk about the context variables. to identify transaction, whether that is before or after, or whether that is running in or on the basis of VF pages, or how your trigger is being called. That is something we identify on the basis of context variables. So all triggers define implicit variables that allow developers to access runtime context. That means what is going on at the time of when you are running the trigger. So we have is executing. So we use is executing when we want to identify like whether our trigger is being called from the Apex code or from the VF page. So it will be going to return true if the current context of the trigger is Apex code, not a Visual Force page. If our trigger is being called from the VF page, it will be returning false. Let me open all the context variables. So these are the trigger context variables. You can see is executing returns true if the current context for the Apex code is trigger, not a VF page, a web service, or an execute anonymous API call. Is insert returns true when you want to identify is insert, like whether you are inserting the record or updating or deleting. So in that case, we use insert returns true if trigger was fired due to an insert operation when you are inserting that. If you are updating something or something on record, then is update will return true. Is delete if you are going to delete something, then it will be going to return true. Age before means either it can be before update, before delete, before undelete, or before insert. Returns true if this trigger was fired before any record was saved. Before saving that record in the memory, it will be going to return true or fire the particular block. Age after means once record saved in the memory, then it will be going to return true. Age and delete returns true if this trigger was fired after a record is recovered from the recycle bin. This recovery can occur after an undelete operation from the Salesforce user interface or the API call. But undelete is something which cannot be used on the before event. We cannot use in undelete. New, they are also very important. New map, old map. So new means it will be going to return the list of new records. For example, when you are using before insert or before update or after insert or after update, it will be going to return the new version of records. New version of record means whatever the records you are going either insert or update. For example, you are inserting 10 records in the memory, so you will be going to 10 records in the trigger.new with the help of this, and new map will be going to return the ID of those records, but you won't get the ID in the before insert. you will get the ID in the after insert. Let's suppose you have 100 records and you are going to update those. If you are updating all the 100, that you'll get all the records in the new or new map. If you are updating only 10 records out of 100, you will get the 10 records in the trigger.new. So basically returns a list of new version of the subject records. This object list is only available in insert, update and undelete triggers, and the record can only be modified in before trigger. Okay, got it? Guys, any doubt in the trigger.new? So main important part is this, when it will be available. So this subject list is only available in insert, update and undelete. Shekhar, are there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you explain how it will be available in insert, update and undelete triggers?
Sir, it will return the new list when you're using the new trigger in the insert, update, or undelete triggers.
Can you
List
give
of
me the example of undelete?
undelete, sir. Okay. Sir, I don't have a proper idea about the undelete.
About the update?
Update, sir. If you want to update any records before, for example, like if you want to create the uh, record on a save button. Sorry, sir. Actually, I'm not having. I'm confused about it, sir. I don't have a proper
Okay, no
idea.
issues, no issues. Okay, let's understand. If you insert any new record in the Salesforce, that means you will get that record in the trigger.new. So it will be like a list of records. Okay, let's suppose you have 1,000 records and you update 50 records. So you will get 50 records in the trigger.new because you are updating only 50, not the 1,000. That's in the account objects you write the trigger where you are performing some transaction. You have total 1,000 records in the account, but you are updating only the 50 records. You will get the 50 records in the trigger.new. So same thing it says. This as object list is only available in insert, update and undelete. So insert means whatever the new records you are inserting. Update means whatever the records you are updating, you will get only those records, not the remaining records. You will get the remaining records in the trigger.old. Trigger.old means you did update those. Returns a list of old version of has object records, means which records are already available in the org. You are not doing anything. This as object list is available in update and delete triggers. Means if you are going to update the account records, you want to identify some difference in the in all the records which are in the available in the account object, and with those records which you are updating. So you will get those records which you are updating in trigger.new, and you will get all those records which are available in the account object in trigger.old map, trigger.old. So in trigger.new, you will get 50 records, and trigger.old, you will get how many records?
950.
950.
Correct, 950. 950 or 1000? Guys,
950, I
Uh,
guess.
950.
950
correct.
will be trigger.org.
Yeah, it will return 950. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
in trigger dot new map, how
50
much
record,
how many records?
50 records, sir.
50 ID. 50 records ID.
IDs,
Correct.
of ID.
So same thing, it will be returning ID of 950 records, and it will return ID of 50 records.
Yes.
Okay, so clear. Trigger.new, trigger.old, new map, old map.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
can you please just explain one more trigger.new and trigger.old how to update?
Sorry, what you said, Philip?
I'm not getting this. How we will update? Already we are updating the trigger.new. Then what is the use of update or trigger.old?
Okay, let's suppose you are going to update some records. Okay, and on the basis of those, you want to send some information or send those records in the email. And let's say you want to do some other transactions. So you need to identify what are the old record, what are the new records. So in the
Okay.
trigger.new, you will get the those records which you are updating, and trigger.old record, you will get all those records which you didn't update or which you are not updating.
Okay.
For example, you have 1000 records. If you update 50 records or you change value of 50 records, you will get those in the trigger.new, those 50 records, and trigger.old you will get 950, which you are not modified.
Okay.
Got it, Philip?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing. This, because these are the important things, like when it will be available or where it will be going to return the records. This map is only available in update and delete triggers. Operation type is something new which was not earlier. So it returns an enum of type So this is something new which came in recent release. Earlier it wasn't there, operation type. It returns the enum of. Okay, I'll tell you about it later on. I need to go through with the functionality of this operation type. And the size. You can get the size of your list, either it is old or the new. Okay, guys, a quick question. Any doubt in these context variables?
No, sir.
Okay, I hope so. No one has any doubt. Let me know if you have any doubt on the trigger.
So the operation undelete, how it should perform,
Undelete. Okay. So basically, let's suppose on the account object you have deleted the 50 records, or you want to delete those records where your expiry date or the end date of those account is 6 months back. What that means, you want to delete those records which end date is 6 months back. So in case of before, you are using before delete. That means before your delete transaction is commit, you want to apply kind of validation, like you want to delete only those records which end date is 6 months back.
okay.
Okay, and else you want to apply some other conditions, for example, where your account status is expire, like you don't want to delete those records where status is active. You want to delete those records, only those records where status is expired. What that means, you need to put the validation, you need to restrict those users. If any account is active and the user is going to delete that, so that won't be able to delete.
Okay, so it's like a condition, like if something, like if it is expired,
Right, we
there.
can put conditions also in the before case. And another is when you, before is something which we use to apply the validation. Before means we want to apply some validation before user commit the transaction, before you save the records or delete do anything. Before that we want to apply some validation. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I'll give you the assignment on that, don't worry.
okay, sir.
And sir, can we use before trigger in new map?
Before trigger in new map, okay, what you say, what your new map will return and what your before will do.
New map always return ID and value,
Correct, then
and in before trigger we will not get ID.
are you sure?
So yes, before trigger, if you are doing before insert, that time
Yeah,
we will not get ID.
and if you are using before delete or before update, then
That time we will get already ID at before means already they are inserted. So we have ID, update and delete.
correct. So in case of only before insert, in case of only before insert, you won't get the ID in new map. Otherwise, if you are using before update, because records are already there. Just think the logically, if you have record in the Salesforce, then you'll get the ID. Otherwise, you won't. But in after you will get the ID, because when your transaction is committed, then you will get the response. Okay, got it,
Yes, sir.
guys. Okay, so let's automate the process. When I'll be going to create the account, I want to create the contact also along with the account. For example, let's go to the account, new, Save. This time there won't be any contact. See, zero contacts. But I want, like, when I'll be going to create the account, I also want the contact. Then I can automate this. See how. Okay. Now we need to identify couple of things which are really important. Like, what will be the object where we need to write the trigger? What will be the event? I'll ask you the question with the specific person. Then that only needs to reply. So my question is with Ankur. Which object I need to opt from here to write the trigger? This is the object list as we going to opt. Ankur, are you there? Hello, Ankur. Sajid, are you there? Are you clear with the question, Sajid? Can you reply, please?
Okay, I think the question is we have to create a contacts when the account is created, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay, so we have to select here account object, and the event would be after create an object of account, then we can create contact object.
You mean event will be the after
After creation of account object.
after so
After
after what? After
After
sorry, Sajid, what you said?
there is an event after create.
After insert we have, after update we have, after delete we have.
Okay, after insert.
Okay, we have to use the after insert.
Right.
Why we need to write the trigger on account, Nikita? Dilip?
On creation on account. So event is on account, right? So that's why that trigger on account.
Okay, Dilip?
Yeah, we are inserting detailing contact. So that time we want to insert in account also. So after insert, we need to insert the detailing account. So we need account object.
Okay, sir, did you get my question? What is the requirement? No, you didn't get. More simple. Aditya, can you
Yes, sir.
explain what was the requirement?
So our requirement is to whenever we are going to create an account, after that, so automatically a contact should be created. That's a requirement.
Correct. And Dilip, you are explaining just opposite.
Yeah,
So
opposite.
so what will be the object, Aditya?
So the object should be accounts because we are going to create account first, and then according to the accounts, as soon as the account is created, we have to the contact should be created.
Correct. So you guys are right. Right. We have to write it on the account object because once your account is inserted, then we want the contact. So in that case, we need the ID of account. So whenever we talk about the ID or when we need the ID, we cannot get the ID in the before trigger, before insert. So we will get the ID in the after insert only. So we need the ID of the account, then only we can relate that contact to the account. Correct. So we need the ID. That's the reason we'll be going to use after insert. We need ID of account. Destination we need to write this trigger on the account. So whenever I will be going to insert the records, account records, the same time there should be contact related to the account. So what I need to use trigger dot old map or trigger dot new map.
Trigger.new.
Correct. For account trigger dot new. So it will be returning the list of account. What we need to do, we need to create instance of contact. Let's say I want to put the same name, whatever the name you are putting in the account. We don't have anything last name. Trigger obj dot con dot account id will be the, how we can get the account id, guys?
New maps, new map.
Okay,
सर ऑब्जेक्ट अकाउंट डॉट आईडी से भी आ जाए.
correct.
Yes, sir.
How we can use the context variables? Trigger dot is insert and trigger dot is after. So we are mapping two conditions, like this code should run only when that transaction is insert, when you are inserting the records, and is after.
Sir, why do we use is after?
Good question. Okay, it might be you are going to insert the records, right? For example, when I talk about the new, we are creating the new account. So let's suppose this one, when I hit the new save button, it will be going to execute this insert, because what we are doing, we are inserting the data, right? So first condition will be true, trigger dot is insert, like we are inserting that, but it will be, it won't be able to identify whether that is before insert or the after insert, from, because we are not mapping anything here. It will be insert, but here we need to explicitly specify whether it is trigger dot is update or is after, or is before? Because we want to run this transaction, run this piece of code only when we are first inserting the records, and that is the, or when we are inserting the records and our records are inserted after that. Because in
So,
the
sir,
insert got two things. Sorry, what you said?
so my question is that if we using only trigger dot is insert in a condition, will that work or not? Or we have to specify along with
That will be going to call this piece of information twice, like at the time
twice?
of before, right? Because as
Okay,
of now, here as of now, we are not using any event, but what best practice says, use single trigger on the on an object. Don't use multiple trigger. In that case, what we may have before insert, we may have after update, we may have before update. These events we can have in that
so these
scenario,
are
right?
the by default. If we don't use this, if we don't
No,
specify.
we might need to use, see, Shekhar, we might need to use these events also.
Okay,
As per the best practice, we cannot use multiple trigger, or we shouldn't use multiple triggers on the same object. But it might be like we might need to calculate or do some transactions on the basis of insert, update, or delete. That may be before, after, right? So in that case, if you are using these events, so, and if I remove this, in case of this, it will be going to execute this piece of information twice, because we are going to use before also, before insert also, the after insert also. So here we are not explicitly specifying which type of transaction it is, whether it is the before or is it the after. That's the reason, if and only if it will be going to return true when we are our record insert in the database.
okay,
Now got it?
got it, sir.
Let's save it.
So, sir, if we have only one event like after insert, then I think we do not have to use the is insert context variable. If we have multiple insert update before and after, I think then only we have to use this trigger dot is after is insert,
Correct.
because when there are multiple after and before statements, then we have to make sure that we are inserting in the right context variable. Otherwise, it might create problem for us.
Right, right.
So I have one question. Can we call batch class or future method from trigger?
Right, we can call. Okay. Now see, we got the contact. Here we go. This is the Shekhar trigger. This is the contact which got created. Okay.
So that means we are using for audit purpose also this one, right?
We can use, I mean, it depends on the business scenario
Hmm.
where we can use. So here which scenario was when we are going to create any account, we want to create the contact also. We are doing this. Okay. Now let's write the assignment, guys. Create one field on contact. Field name will be status, and field value can be active, inactive, and expired. If status is expired, then only user can delete that record. If status is active and user is going to delete that record, for example, let's suppose there is any status field and that is active. If user try to delete this, user won't be able to delete because status of that contact is still active. If that is expired from the UI, I mean for that object, for that record, if that record is expired, that contact is expired, and if you try to delete that, then only that will be able to delete that record. Simple. Got it?
Okay, sir.
Another assignment is count total contact on account and update that count on account objects. So you need to create one field on account object. Field can be like field name can be total contact. So this is the one assignment. This is the another assignment. Did you get the meaning of this? Any doubt?
Got it, sir.
Okay, so guys, these are the two assignments which you need to complete. We'll connect tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. So thank you. Thanks for joining. And